Very quiet in here.
It is very quiet.
Hello, folks, and
Welcome to the channel or something.
hello, all you
Yes,
Rhodians, you
welcome.
Tatooinans, and all you other species out there. Welcome to Echo's
Nobody.
Praxium's first podcast. Woo!
Yeah,
Yay!
welcome.
Yay!
Yeah.
I
Yay.
guess, yeah.
Let's go.
Yo, this is going so
Yeah.
well.
We are all
is going
so
fantastic.
ambitious and so happy to be here.
I am. I know I am. Just...
We're all.
I'm very happy. I am very happy to be here.
Oh my gosh, that almost sounded like Watto, dude.
yeah.
I'm so happy.
Without the ratchiness.
I'm also so happy that you could join us.
Okay, so
Oh
can
my
someone
gosh.
quickly
No.
explain
Uh,
what this channel's about? Just the channel itself.
I'm gonna be honest. I have no idea what this channel is about. Like, we didn't even come up with a theme.
I don't know. It's about some stupid Star Wars movie or whatever. I don't know.
Oh
I don't know.
yeah.
You guys have probably never heard of it. It's
Some of this guy-
Yeah.
Yeah, some guy
9
named George
movies. 3 of
decided,
them-
hey,
Yeah.
I'm going to make sci-fi movies.
Yeah,
but
the
colored,
9
but
movies.
colored.
9
it's about
movies.
colored
3 of them don't
flashlights.
count. It's fine.
Yeah, no.
It's about colored flashlights. It's pretty fun.
And these thing called
yeah,
Jedi are a thing, and like I guess there's like a evil
Yeah.
guy in a robe, and just
Yeah.
some very iconic characters and world building, that the entire world has ever seen.
Yeah,
For
yeah,
your
like one of
information,
the
it's my
greatest.
bathrobe. Thank you.
One of the greatest franchises of all time until J.J. Abrams decided to use his mystery boxes.
All right.
Yeah, as a-
sequel talk aside.
Yeah. Oh. Okay.
Yeah,
All right. I
the
was
mystery boxes.
gonna go in on my own liking, but yeah.
Maybe we should probably say that for
I
a
got the
later
topic
date.
to start.
Yeah.
That's not how it works. Should we
All right, how about
introduce ourselves?
Sure.
That's
I
not
guess-
how the Force works.
All right, Angel, you're first.
Hello. I'll figure it out.
I'm sorry, who
I
gave you
am
permission to look?
Mazor. I'm speaking.
It's
All
rude.
right. Anyway, I'm Azor Angel. Welcome to the Praxium. That was my professional voice, guys.
You sound like a game show host that's high on heroin. I don't know why.
Oh my god.
Actually, it's Spice.
Spice?
Corellian
Spice of
Spice.
life.
Yeah. That goes crazy.
Okay, hamster. Introduce yourself.
My name is May, and I'm 23 years old. And what I like to do as a hobby is trade Disney pens.
What's up? My name's Mace. Not too exciting. Work at Target. Likes Disney. Stuff like that. Yeah. What's up?
Every other week.
Yeah. That's my life for you. Nice to meet you.
So bye. Nothing really to say, except for the fact that I'm 6'8", and that is canon.
That's enough. That is enough.
That is
That is enough.
that is
That's enough to
Kenna.
say.
It is Kenna.
It's
That is
Kenna.
canon.
That is Kenna.
I am Kenough. I'm 6'8" of Kenough.
Enough. Yes. Sponsored by Park.
You are also Kenough. We're not sponsored by anybody.
We're
I hope not,
sponsored.
anyway. Or
We're not
else
sponsored by Marvel.
I just lost our sponsorship.
Yeah.
Anyway, all you gotta know is that his name is Rafaelito, and he works at Walmart, and that's all you need.
Yeah. He's my retail buddy.
His name is Scrub or Light Rights on Discord, but
Or Bert.
Or Burks, yes, that's Scrub backwards.
Burks.
But yes, I formerly known like as Light Rights. Yeah, I'm the one in charge of this podcast. It's kind of directing it in a way. This was all my idea, and I've dragged everyone into this mess. You're welcome. That is all. All right, Vic,
Dragged.
go.
We have dragged it through the street, and we are all just very
we're all
grateful
here.
to have you
We're all
here.
just.
We've
Yeah.
actually all been taken prisoner. Please, send help.
Yeah, please help us.
Stockholm Syndrome. My name is Greg, I'm also known as Vitronox. I am a Star Wars enthusiast. I'm in my 30s, so I'm one of the older people on the server. And yeah, I would say
He's our resident
I'm
senior citizen.
I'm the resident senior citizen. I'm one of the admins of Praxium, and I'm excited to be here, unlike Mace.
We push him around in a wheelchair just so he can get around.
We're not even 10 minutes into the podcast and Mace is already checked out. All right.
Anywho, wait, is everybody introduced, right?
Yes.
Right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I got a
Yes,
topic.
we shall.
What's your topic?
What's everyone's fears or excitement for 1
Oh,
week from
great.
now with Ahsoka?
Lisa.
Oh, boy.
Alright.
Okay.
Everyone,
All right,
down the line.
all right.
Down
Yeah, we need a lion for this.
Same order? Same order?
Yes.
Okay. Angel?
Okay. All right. So Ahsoka, as you all know, is next Wednesday. That is terrifyingly close because, oh my God, it was like, it was only, it feels like yesterday when it was announced and we were just sitting there like, yo, Ahsoka's getting a live action series and Dave Filoni's doing it. And then Mando season 3 came along and ruined the party. So now we're in this spot as a fandom where we're like, you know, this is the last bastion of defense of George Lucas Star Wars actually being somewhat decent. And the fear that I personally have the most is I want them to characterize Grand Admiral Thrawn not in a Saturday morning cartoon villain type of way. Because they almost tried that with him in Rebels, and I was very skeptical of him towards the end of like how serious of a military leader he was. And, you know, he let all these, you know, these teenagers and their mom and dad outsmart him, you know? So I feel like if they're building Thrawn to be this galactic level threat, like something that could be as formidable, if not more, than Palpatine ever was, then they need to treat his character with respect. I hope Dave Filoni actually studied what Timothy Zahn wrote with Thrawn, both in the EU and canon. I really feel that the literary material actually supplements his character a lot more than what we've seen on screen. I am very happy that Lars Mikkelsen is returning for Thrawn, though, because I don't see anybody else really playing him. He's got that right air of intelligence, cunning, and you know, sinister, like a sinister vibe, but not to the point where it's like hokey or cheesy. So I hope they handle him well. One thing I am excited for, however, I think everybody's excited for, is Anakin and Ahsoka being on screen together in live action for the first time. That is going to be absolutely amazing. I'm really happy for Hayden and that he's getting the love that he deserved all those years ago doing the prequels. And I really hope that they show him enough where they display what kind of impact he had on Ahsoka's life. I'm definitely excited for that. So that's my thoughts on it. My main fears and hopes for it. Yeah.
All right.
That was a lot, right?
Good stuff.
I hope I didn't take anybody's words.
No.
I hope I didn't take anybody's words out of their mouth.
Go down the line. Let's go.
That was good with me. I'm super excited for it. Like it's good. I think it's gonna be way better than Mando season 3. Hopefully. I'm really excited mostly to see, you know, Ahsoka and Anakin together live action, but I'm also worried on how they'll do it with them messing with either the past or the future or just anything, because I'm personally not a fan of that. But I like to look at the positive more than the negative. So I know there's a lot of positive that can come out of this show, but knowing how the fan base is already divided, this has the potential to make it even worse, in my opinion. So I'm hoping for honestly nothing but the best for it, and just going in there with a positive mindset.
I am genuinely horrified of what might happen because of this Ahsoka show. Mainly due to the fact that the last time we had a live action series featuring a super popular character, it kind of was not that good.
Kenobi.
Thank you, Obi-Wan Kenobi. Thank you.
Yeah, thank
But thank you. But either way, Rosario Dawson, I think her name is. I cannot pronounce her name worth a damn. I'm not gonna lie to you. Yeah, she's gonna do great as Ahsoka. Like, we already know that. She's already done so well as Ahsoka throughout Mando, and she's gonna do really well as Ahsoka in her own TV show. But I am afraid for the future, because if this show does bad, then it might not look very good for the rest of the I think you would call it the what Star Wars universe is this now? Is it the Kathleen Kennedy verse, or is it like the
This is
I don't know what it is.
This is Filoni's show.
The Filoniverse. Yeah, this is the Filoniverse Star Wars series. I'm very afraid of what the Filoniverse might be in the future if this does not that well with both fans and critics alike, because these shows have a tendency to not do very well and kind of to be series killers. But that's my main opinion on the matter.
Nice.
Yeah, sure. I would say my focus would be, Lars Mikkelsen, Rosario Dawson have solid acting and they know the role. I'm not so worried about the characters. I'm more worried about the duration of episodes, the choices made in season 3 of Mandalorian about these kind of offshoot episodes and detracting from the story. It's more of the limited format of the Disney Plus storytelling. You got about like 8 episodes, sometimes they're 30 minutes, sometimes they're 40, and you want more at the end of the day. So I think, part of me is mostly concerned, I'm excited, but mostly concerned for some of the rushed pacing or the storytelling aspect from having multiple different directors per episode. But then I always, I'm starting to try to also wonder about, does it really bother me if Sabrine Wren is force sensitive? I don't really think so, but like, would Kanan Jarrus have noticed that? Or some things like that. It's like some of those decisions, at the end of the day, it's not going to make or break Star Wars for me, but I think it's going to make or break it for a lot of people, and Disney will respond to that. And so, at the end of the day, we wanted to do well.
That's a very good point. Sabine, by the way, you said Sabrine, and I'm just like, Sabine.
Sabrine.
Wait, what did I say?
You said Sabrine.
You said
I
Sabrine.
meant to say Sabine. My bad.
I didn't know Sabrina the Teenage Witch was supposed to be in the Ahsoka show.
Yeah.
My bad. I didn't know that.
I'm sorry to spoil it for all of you.
If
It was supposed to be a non-spoiler. My bad.
Honestly,
Go ahead, Scrub.
I was gonna say, honestly, this is not the first time we've all mispronounced the incorrect character names. In fact, it was for a long time when we have conversation about Satine Kryze, everyone just kept saying Sabine, and I'm like, y'all, it's Satine. It was it was funny for a while. My thoughts. I am in the. I'm not gonna be redundant or reiterate too much. Just I also feel that with the Ahsoka show, it is pretty much Lucasfilm's last leg, at least with Star Wars. Before probably the entire fan base, unless they, loyal fans are gonna start just turning off or unsubscribing, because it's just not gonna end well. That's what I'm worried about. Again, I like to have some hope that it won't be that way, but yeah, I don't know. I'm personally not going to hold my breath about anything. I will be watching the show. I'm just not excited because I don't know what to anticipate. Because like we all said, I was super excited for Mando season 3, and I was pretty disappointed because not much plot. There was not much story plot to drive it, the season itself, and just a lot of continuity errors. And as an aspiring writer, that just things I picked up on that really bothered me. And so that's why I'm gonna be tiptoe, tread lightly on the Ahsoka, is what I'm saying. But yeah, that's pretty much
Very
thoughts.
much.
Well, that's completely fair because, like I was trying to say, this is a last-ditch opportunity for the Filoni-verse to land its feet on the ground, or else it's gonna probably implode.
Honestly,
Well, the Filoni-verse itself, the Filoni-verse itself has been self-sustaining for a very long time. It's been majority successful. It wasn't up until lately where it's just the problems really started setting in.
Right.
And it doesn't help that we know where these characters are kind of supposed to end up anyway, because either they're going to die or they don't exist in the trilogy, the Disney trilogy timeline, or their whereabouts are unknown.
Right.
Another thing about just the fan base and everything, that the fact that people, I agree with them, that Ahsoka, having all these characters coming back from Rebels, from Hayden Christensen with Anakin, and Ahsoka again. Kenobi is a perfect example of this. That yes, we have characters that we love coming back, but we've seen the harm on what Disney's done to the ones that we like. So the fact that that has a play on how excited we are for the show, it's just unfortunate.
Yeah.
Andor, we got introduced to him when Rogue One came out. I mean, we got introduced to Obi-Wan Kenobi as when we were kids, and the fact that most people say, yeah, Andor's better. I'm like, wow, even with the Kenobi name, everything the potential that they had, they still couldn't do it. So,
yeah, that's my whole thing with Andor, because Andor had no right being as good as it was.
You're exactly right. It had no right being as good as it was, because guess what? We are not used to it.
Yeah.
We are not used to it.
Good quality television coming from Disney Star Wars.
Yeah, we are not used to it.
Sorry to be that guy that's different. I didn't see Andor yet.
I didn't see it.
Haven't seen
it.
Andor.
Hey, and that
is so good, though.
It's
But
good,
it's
that's perfectly okay. Okay.
But it's it's not one of those series where I'm concerned with spoilers or anything. It's just is that a sneeze? You okay?
Oh, I was
Yeah,
whispering
right.
my best thing. It's not okay that you haven't seen it. I was joking.
Somebody just sneezed their lung out. I don't know who it was.
That wasn't me.
They sneezed it back. But
It
Andor
was
is one
me
of those
that
series
said
where it's I do see the potential in it, where it's okay, it's a more grounded Star Wars series. A lot of people have been asking for a long time, a more darker, grittier side of it. Definitely. What are you laughing at? She's off the
What
goofy
is
juice today.
what is going on?
Actually, she's off the goofy
Good
juice
luck,
every
Fluff
day.
Scrub.
This is Scrub's Joker moment.
Bruh.
But I feel as though there's so much story to be told in a more darker setting. You got the Sith from the Old Republic, which they look like they're going for next, and I'm just like Ahsoka, very skeptical. I hope we do get more dark side oriented stories, or just darker tone stories in general. And I hope they don't try to weed out. I hope they don't try to weed out.
No.
What is going on in the background?
She's being
I'm reading-
silly.
Yeah,
I can read Scrub's mind, and she's no, please, for the love of God, don't do this.
I hope they don't try to weed out the Force as like a central piece of what Star Wars stands for and what it is, and what we've grown to love it for. Because it seems like they're trying to write out Force sensitive characters or write in new ones that kind of just don't really fit. Although with Sabine, I think that one's a different story because I think they've been alluding to it, but that can carry over into our next talking point if you guys want.
Yeah, I was about to say that's not a bad place to start, but I like how you said dark and gritty Star Wars. I'm over here like,
Right.
Oh,
They need
and gritty Star Wars.
you.
yeah.
No, it's her.
Oh,
need-
yeah, I
I
get
like
it.
that.
I
Me
get
and
it. I
Opie
get it.
definitely. Me and Opie caught it.
We will have
I
a
just
different conversation about that
Listen,
another day.
it was a bad joke.
I just
but
now caught it.
Let's just leave it at that.
Yeah, I just now caught it.
But anyway, Sabine being now Force sensitive. What is the main opinion about that? Starting with Angel, I guess.
Well, I'm not really concerned about it as much as I am like, how are they going to handle that? Because she doesn't necessarily have to be a Jedi. I think everybody's jumping to this conclusion like, oh, she's been trained by Kanan, Ezra, and Ahsoka. She must be headed towards the Jedi path. It's not necessarily true. You can be a Force sensitive and not be on either side of any faction that has to do with manipulating the Force in any way. And I think Sabine is going to stick to her own Mandalorian way, where she's not going to betray the creed or what values she was instilled with. Although, granted, her mother was kind of a dick. But
I'm putting it lightly.
yeah, very much lightly. But they did hint to it a few times during that whole period where Kanan and Ezra were training her. And Kanan outright says, like, she's very strong-willed, and, everybody has the Force, but Sabine has something emotionally or mentally blocking her where she can't really be in tune with it like everybody else. That something along the lines of Ezra or someone along the lines of
So
Ahsoka.
Mandalorian, you mean?
Like Kanan really says like she's such a Mandalorian, like she's so strong-willed and stubborn and not willing to follow a certain code or direction. She kind of just is a free spirit.
Part of me thinks that that's supposed to be a compliment, and part of me thinks that that's racially motivated.
Bro.
Well, Mandalorian isn't
done, bro.
Sorry, I'm a terrible person, I know.
No, you're
No,
not.
you're not.
Mandalorians,
No, you're not.
Day.
Mandalorians are technically just a culture, like not a race anymore.
It is.
So
It's a culture. Yeah, it's a creed.
yeah.
Your creed. I'd use a Force to lift myself up, and I'll just float around and never walk again.
It's like
All right,
like Yoda's little hover chair.
Exactly right.
Okay, so question for you guys before I start doing it. Like, on what the trailers have showed us, Ahsoka is basically training her, yes?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. It's cool that she's Force sensitive and everything. Or is she? Or it's not confirmed, right?
It's alluded.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, we won't know till next week.
Okay. Well, basically, I'm not a fan of her being a Jedi. I don't have anything towards the character. I just don't want. I just want just another character that I'm not. I don't like all the new Jedi how many Jedi that we're getting in this time period. Like I want there to be a limit. But if they don't, I mean, it'd be fine. Like I wouldn't be mad about it. Like I'd be like, okay, that's fine. But if they go more beyond this and do even more throughout this certain time period, like I feel like they're just getting too comfortable with this Jedi role that people are getting. But I don't know. I'm in the middle about it.
I find it strange that Disney has released the first Mandalorian Jedi twice in the past 5 years.
Okay, you're not even wrong.
Yeah, like, oh, the first Mandalorian Jedi in 1,000 years. It's Grogu. He's gonna be a Jedi and train with Luke Skywalker. Psych! It's Sabine. It's Sabine, and she's the Mandalorian Jedi. Because technically, Grogu's not even supposed to be like a Jedi. He's supposed to be a Mandalorian because he never actually got trained by Luke except for how to jump good and lift frogs. So that's awesome. But they make Sabine, they're making her out to be like, there was the whole Master and Apprentice trailer that came out from the Star Wars, content channels, and they showed Sabine and Ahsoka, so they are obviously Master and Apprentice in this scenario. But Sabine being a Mandalorian Jedi also kind of conflicts with Grogu being a Mandalorian Jedi, because now there are two Mandalorian Jedi in the same story at the same time who are supposed to be the first Mandalorian Jedi in the past 1,000 years since the guy made the Darksaber.
The guy, the man.
The man.
The legend, whatever his name was, I can't remember.
Arvisla.
If I may ask about this, Wopai, when you mentioned about there being two Mandalorian Jedi, when Grogu decided to go back to the Mandalorian in season 2, or was it season 2 or season 3?
It was
season 3. Book of Boba Fett, so season 2.5.
Yeah, season 2.5.
Okay, well,
yep.
Wouldn't Grogu just be considered a Mandalorian since he chose to go back to the Jordan? Because he didn't
he
want
would
to continue Jedi training?
Well, I mean, it's alluded to, I guess he would be considered just a Mandalorian because he never really went through with the Jedi training because he wanted to be with, Mando Dad. But he is eventually going to be a Jedi because he is extremely Force sensitive, and once Din, dies eventually, whenever that will happen, Grogu is going to go down the Jedi path.
We just know that he's going to outlive everyone else.
Oh, yeah. Yoda can live up to 900 years old, so he's definitely going to, do that.
All right, then.
Okay, so the way I see it is you come into the question of where does Ahsoka stand? So we know she's no Jedi. She refuses to call herself a Jedi. But she is a Force-sensitive individual that chooses to do good and has the training. So if Sabine's going to be that, great. But if we say that she is a Jedi, then you're right. I get into problems. I already have an issue with her being Force-sensitive. Already. Just because it was I don't know, just based on what I've seen in the trailers, there's just a lot of growth that needs to happen. And I hate to say it, I don't know if she really deserves to be able to learn to wield the Force, if I'm 100% honest.
I agree.
Yeah.
From the Sabine fanboys and girls.
Sorry. Sabine as a character, because we've seen her when she was young, understandable. The whole thing about her complicated, emotions and whatnot, that's understandable. But should we make her Force sensitive? I don't think so. Because you can, like Angel said, technically everyone is Force sensitive. Everyone has a midichlorian count. Some just has a higher concentration than others, but Sabine's case, I don't think so. I don't really like that she's more sensitive. I kind of internally rolled my eyes when I saw her lifting her hand. I was like,
yeah, seriously.
We're really gonna do this.
Yeah, not a fan of it.
No, I'm not a fan of this. Sorry, I'm on the dissenting side of the conversation. I don't mean to offend. It's nothing against the character. It's just, again, from a writer's standpoint, it just seems very lazy.
Yep.
I don't know what the right word is. Maybe it is lazy. I don't know. It's just
Lazy or contrived.
contrived. Maybe that's
Really considered lazy writing to make her a Jedi, though, or to make her at least force sensitive in some way.
Here's the thing: if they go as far as to make her Jedi, then I'm gonna be done. Like, I'm done.
Yeah, I'm. That's already gonna. That will hurt the show so bad. Like if they even if they will hurt the show so badly, and I feel like they can use that time so much wiser than doing that. Like it. There's much more better things that we can do.
There's just so many. Like, there's so many
It's
ways
literally
to
an
go.
Ahsoka show.
Yeah.
Like
This is-
oh, like a trailer. Like it's saying in one of the new teaser trailers we got, a new Jedi will rise, and I'm like,
Oh my.
are you talking about Sabine? I'm like,
Now there
it's-
is a
and
possibility.
I
my
just don't
ca-
like that.
My current theory is that Anakin's spirit might knight her on honorarily. So
Does she even have the honor of that?
Ahsoka?
Well,
Hell yeah.
No.
Ahsoka.
Oh, I thought you were talking about
absolutely.
Sabine. I thought you were talking about Sabine.
no,
My
not
bad.
Sabine. No. No, I think
Oh, my-
Anakin's ghost will probably. First of all, this is what I think will happen. Here's like my method behind the madness. I think at some point Luke is going to show up again, and we're actually going to see the talk that we want to see,
Yeah, I
and
like
we're
that.
going to see how they meet, what the conversation is about, because there's a lot to talk about.
Yeah, that
there's
is a lot to
plenty.
talk about. Yeah,
There's
Luke's
plenty to talk about.
Luke's gonna find out about stuff, from his dad that he's never
Yeah.
known.
Exactly.
Yeah,
And
it's-
Imagine, like,
eventually she's to lead her to a certain meditative spot or something, and she's going to see Anakin. She's not going to believe it at first, but he's going to show her all these different things that happen. Like, if it's in the world between worlds, so be it. If he shows her what he did on the Death Star that night, and shows that he was always meant to go on this path, because that whole Mustafar leak thing, I think that was meant to spook us, but I don't think that's necessarily where we think it's going to go.
I hope that's
I
only
think-
to spook us. I really do.
Okay.
I
so,
think-
like she's watching it happen, but she can't interfere.
Correct.
Okay.
Because
I'm also scared
she's
about
watching like a version. She's watching a version of her, and obviously it's going to be a different actress for younger. So, say again.
I'm just with the Mustafar thing. Like, I bet you
Yeah.
there's gonna be a certain group of fans to be like, oh, like if she goes and fights Anakin, that's gonna be super cool. It's gonna be amazing. It's gonna be a really good fight. And
I think
the
it
other
would be cool, and then you think
and-
about
and-
the context of it. It's like,
in the other side, which I am on this side, I do not want her to even see it. I don't want her to see it. Like, I don't even
No.
want her to see it.
I mean,
I don't. It's just if she interferes with that type of Anakin in that time, I'm like, bro, stop messing with the past. It's like it's become such a popular thing. I'm not saying just Star Wars in general. I'm just saying in general. But I don't like it. Not a fan.
mhm.
okay, we all need a little bit of Qui-Gon philosophy in our life. It's like the past has ceased to be. That is literally one of the things that Qui-Gon teaches, Obi-Wan, or that's one of his teachings. And it's like, focus on the present. The future does not exist. The past has ceased to be. Now, if only we can take that into perspective, and whenever we're coming up with, concepts or ideas for new shows, that's where I'm at. And I'm just like,
Great.
I keep going back to the rebel scene where, Kanan is trying to train her a little bit with I believe it was a dark saber. He would have known. There would have been the conversation. Does one need to be force sensitive? This may be a controversial statement. Does one need to be force sensitive to learn how to wield the lightsaber?
No. Boba Fett knows how to use one.
Is that? But that's more of like in the comics and extended, right?
I mean, it's in canon too. They fought.
Oh, is it?
Technically, anybody can wield a lightsaber. It's just very dangerous.
Like, if you don't have the correct amount of training to use a lightsaber, you could cut off one of your limbs.
Or, narc yourself.
Yeah.
I'm hoping it's a scenario where they have an extra lightsaber. She had experience with the dark saber. Might as well train her without the force. I don't know. I guess I'm not going to hinge my enjoyment of the show on that. I guess I'm more focused on I know this is not the subject, but more focused on the portrayal of Thrawn. But either way with Sabine, or Sabrina. I think that...
Yes, Sabrina.
Yes, Sabrina, Teenage Witch. I really think that, whatever they do, they just need to handle it right, and they have a 50-50 track record with that. So, I'm gonna be optimistic that Filoni's at the helm. A lot of people hate on Rebels. I actually really enjoyed it. As you're talking about the treatment of Thrawn in that, I kind of agree and kind of disagree on that because, most of the times that Thrawn gets defeated in the Rebels is through the unpredictable use of Ezra and Kanan's use of the Force. And each of the time, and so, and then what I'm hoping the arc is somewhat to some degree, or maybe kind of build to it over time, is that his time away with Ezra, going forward, the Force is not as, it's always going to be mystical, but I think it's going to be a part of his calculations. I think that's going to hopefully make him a little bit more of an adversary, because it seemed like whenever the Force involved, you could guarantee that Thrawn's going to lose unless, if no Force is there, Thrawn wins. Force is there, there's going to be some, rabbit out of the hat that'll make him lose. What if Thrawn is able to somewhat put that into his predictions somehow by being more understanding of the concept of the Force?
Yeah.
Now, it's funny you mentioned that, right? Because I remember, if you guys have read the Heir to the Empire novel, if you haven't, in that series, Thrawn has this creature called the
Illuminari. Yep.
Yes, and essentially, these beasts, these lizards, they were able to make a force neutral bubble to repel it back or to deflect it from being attacked by a force user. And they haven't introduced them. I wonder if they're going to introduce them in this show, because like you said, Thrawn has only been defeated by them because of the unpredictability of the Force's will being instilled, in the flow of time, in the flow of things, the events. But I think that he's going to learn from his mistake, because Thrawn is not someone who doesn't learn from his mistake, and he doesn't underestimate his enemy either. That's like one of the most important rules of war or combat or any sort of opposing force. You're not supposed to underestimate your opponent. You have to actually respect your enemy and know how they work, and not be prone to emotional outbursts, or in those emotional outbursts leading to making the same mistake over and over again, and pretty much like proving that you have low level insanity. I hope that he actually is formidable in this, because we actually do see a statue of them in his office in Rebels, so they
Really?
could be
Yeah.
hinting at that. Yeah, they're in the background. So, you know, I really like Rebels Thrawn. It's just that I sometimes found him a bit hokey towards the end, and I didn't really find him believable as much as I would like to. So,
Gotcha.
yeah.
So I
Um,
didn't expect for this podcast to become an entry-level college philosophy class. That's kind of weird. Kind of weird how that progressed that way. I like it.
No,
Don't worry, we'll
another-
be
this is what
doing
this podcast is about.
plenty of this.
one more thing I wanted to say if before we change the subject about Ahsoka seeing Mustafar. If she were to see it, and if that leak is true, wouldn't she tell Luke? Like, wouldn't she inform everything that she saw to Luke about that? Like the fact that
I
Luke
wouldn't
would
want her.
now-
I wouldn't want her to be the one to tell him that.
Yeah, but it's just like I feel like there'd be a chance. Like I feel like she'd want to. But,
Hey, we got a new challenger. What's up, Josh?
hey Josh.
Hey guys.
That's just another thing too. I'm like, if Luke knows about all that too and everything that went down, it just depends on how much that she sees. If it's a split second, then okay, whatever. But if she sees like all the dialogue and everything go on,
Yeah.
I'll be like, bro.
It's kind of a weird situation because what are the consequences of her witnessing, Mustafar and the Obi-Wan Kenobi show, A New Hope, and Return of the Jedi? Like, how does that affect her opinion of Anakin and all the shit that he's done over the course of the past, I don't know, 20 years leading up to all of this, from Revenge of the Sith to about Return of the Jedi would be like 24 years?
Some 24 years, yeah. Because remember, Anakin is himself for 22 years, and then for the other 22, he's Vader.
So
like
both
from
22,
19 BBY,
both 22 and
19
22.
19 BBY all the way to 4 ABY. So that's
Yep.
24, 23.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A new challenger approaches. It is Spinelli.
Welcome.
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 I don't. You're
Welcome.
muted if you're wanting to talk. But what's happening? We have about 10 minutes left of this podcast, y'all. I can get in there on the
Yes.
timer.
Gotcha.
Not by fast.
It has. It's been good. I've been enjoying
Time
this.
flies when
It's
you're
been pretty
talking
chill,
fun.
Except
I'm really enjoying this.
Mm-hmm.
so. I guess for the last 10 minutes, let's just talk about something fun.
I feel like this entire
Fun.
podcast is just us having a regular conversation on a
I
Tuesday.
was gonna
Alright.
ask.
It is.
I mean, yeah. I was gonna ask one thing. Like, who do you guys like? Like, maybe we have to wait until Ahsoka's done. But like, who right now do you think is the face of Star Wars? Like between Ahsoka and obviously the Mandalorian. And
Mando and Grogu.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
definitely, especially
It
Grogu.
has to be both of them.
So even if like Ahsoka, I feel like even if Ahsoka is way better than Mandalorian, I still feel like
Here's the thing, though.
it's not gonna do as good,
I think Mando was like the first thing that Star Wars fans had agreed that was the best thing that Star Wars had made in a while.
Yeah.
Revenge of
And
the Sith.
Yeah, since Revenge of the Sith. And Pedro Pascal just being Mando is like, it's perfect.
It was really
Practically.
good.
Everybody's
Yeah,
salivating over
It's
him.
really good.
That.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And all the
because
fucking
everywhere you
memes.
go, the memes, the merch, everywhere you go, you see that little guy. You see him everywhere you go.
Yeah,
But
more like
unfortunately,
Just like
more
he's
more
not
like-
going anywhere.
yes, but
More-
unfortunately,
hey,
Grogu's
hey.
popularity is actually
Hey, hey,
going
hey.
down. Hey,
Hello.
hello.
More like
The popularity is
Hey.
going down
In the middle
because
a
of how
podcast
season
right now recording.
3.
More like Grogu's basically the face of Star Wars, I should say.
Yeah, I was
I
gonna
love
say,
it.
In case you didn't hear any of that, we are currently in the middle of a podcast, which is about to end in about 10 minutes.
Ooh, I joined
About
already.
8.
Well, you consider yourself like a special guest appearance.
Special
Okay,
guest
yeah, sure.
appearance.
You
Oh
and
my
Josh.
gosh.
Yeah.
I will take that as a special guest appearance. Yes.
Perfect.
All right. Yes.
Nice.
Absolutely perfect.
For
Like I said, unfortunately, sales for Grogu, at least in terms of Grogu merchandise, have been going down. Because
Really?
it's already.
I did not know that.
Oh, I mean, my sister told me that she saw all the Grogu dolls that were like $35.
Whoa.
Are now like selling for $5 or $10 in the current season. I am not kidding.
Wow.
I think that might have something to do with the fact that they're trying to sell Grogu dolls for $35.
No, they're on clearance now. Like
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
So I'm just like, if that's any indication that Grogu's popularity is also beginning to dwindle. I mean,
Well,
They need to progress him.
They need
Yeah.
to do like a Grogu
Nice.
that
Exactly.
feature.
Like we can all agree with this that Grogu should not have been in season 3. He didn't really do
well, he
Yeah.
anything.
wasn't supposed to be
No.
there.
Like, I feel
did
like-
he even use the Force in season 3?
Yes.
Well, yeah, he used the Force to
Yes.
cheat at that fucking game
Cheat at a
on whatever
game. Oh.
planet that was.
Let's not talk
Cheat
about
at a game.
That's a conversation for another day, y'all. Let's not talk about
Yeah.
that.
We'll talk about Grogu on another day. Well, that could
Yeah.
be the
Yeah.
next topic for the next
okay.
podcast.
That'll
Yeah,
be the
we do.
next
So
thing.
you said fun topic, right?
Okay.
You said fun topic, right?
Yeah, fun
Fun
topic.
topic.
A fun topic.
So
That'd be
I
great.
do have like a fun sort of idea. So feel free to throw ideas out. I think I asked Mace this the other day I asked him this when we met up, and then I asked him like when he went to Disney the other day. If Galaxy's Edge doesn't exist, what is your ideal Star Wars park? Like, what would it have? What would you put in it?
Ooh.
right.
Like, that is a long ass conversation that we.
No,
We can condense it.
I don't. Yeah, we don't have to all talk about it all now. But the potential that they have.
Two things. Two
For-
prime locations. Go.
Mm-hmm.
Prime
Me,
location.
Tatooine.
I actually there was a ride that I hoped that they would possibly make or have an idea of, and it's pod racing.
Oh man.
Yeah,
Yes.
That'd be
Yeah.
incredible.
Yeah,
Yes.
literally with Star Wars, they had with the park they had so much potential. Like with for example Avengers Campus, they don't care. They're adding every character in there every other day. They're not following a story
An era.
a story no one cares about for Batu. You know, like nobody cares about it. They're trying to find the spy for the past 4 years. Okay, cool. Let's move on. It's stupid.
And take mine down to audience members. This is coming from a guy that goes to Disney World at least once a week.
Every other
True.
week.
If
Right.
you guys
Every
help
other
me
week.
clarify.
That is actually
Or is it
false.
Disneyland
no.
actually?
It's land and the once a week is very false. So yeah.
Right. Once every other week. Got it.
Every other week, yeah.
Yeah. Make me feel
Yeah,
make me feel more guilty if I thank you. I appreciate you, man.
Hey,
I
you
think
got
that
the
it would-
season pass.
So like, if I were to
My
choose one
bad.
thing,
Go ahead,
well,
Tom.
I guess we're not going. Are we still going down the list of
Yeah, let's keep
people?
going. Let's keep
Yeah,
going.
We have like 4 minutes.
If you, I would say, okay, give your top 3 things that you would like. Just keep it short.
Ooh.
Let's go in order.
So
Spinelli
said-
Spinelli was
Spinelli,
so she's not-
Spinelli said mine. Spinelli said the same thing I was saying with pod racing.
Oh,
but what were your
I-
other? What
I
were your
think
other
that
two?
like having Jar Jar being the narrator and stuff like that, and
That'd be cool.
be like a situation where you're where like you know how Cars Land has it where you're racing another car. I think
Yeah.
that would be really really fun, and it's
See-
based off of like
while you're in the line to get into one, like you vote on a pod to be like, you know, who's gonna.
See, there is already a thing like that there. It's called Star Tours, and basically there is a pod racing thing that is a ride, but just the potential that they have, that the actual, like, don't get me wrong, Roads of Resistance is great, but I'm just saying they didn't have to just stick with one timeline. This is a whole entire, you know.
I also feel like Spinelli. I feel like Spinelli just described legalized Disney gambling.
I love it.
Bring in Canto Bite. No, well, Mace, at the same time, they needed to. You know, I understand. Oh, go ahead, Spinelli.
Less than 3 minutes. Come on, let's go, guys.
I was just gonna say, I understand Disney's kind of desire to double down on the, you know, the Batu thing. So they're gonna want to keep it in the theme of their land. So of course they're gonna keep it in that timeline.
The thing is, with what they've done, they're never gonna change it. And that's just how it is, and that's okay. I mean, whatever.
No. I'm more optimistic. Never say never, Mace.
You know.
Let's continue with the top things that we want to see in a Star Wars Disney World thing.
Okay, mine personally, lightsaber trainer. Like not that Galactic Star Cruiser crap that Greg showed me. He was like, no. I need some actual, like. I need Anakin Skywalker to teach me Form 5. Straight up. You know?
Yes, I completely agree. Completely.
Yeah. I feel like
Hurry,
that would be...
guys, I don't think you realize how little time
Number three. Someone say it.
Me.
Okay.
Someone say number 3.
Guys, I got you. The Jedi Temple.
Just the Jedi Temple, yeah.
The Jedi Temple. I'm
That'd
sorry.
be very cool.
Can you just imagine walking into this big ass temple and you get to go inside the Jedi Council room? Like,
oh my gosh, that'd be so cool.
I'm telling you.
Yeah, bigger than the castle. My goodness.
And then you hear loud noise in the background. You turn around, younglings gathered in the corner.
Oh my
You
God.
hear gunshots and blasts going on.
There are too many of them. What are we going to do?
Oh my gosh, no.
That's what we're going to end it, folks.
Sarah humming a lightsaber in the background.
Weird.
All right. Good ending. Yeah.
I think that's where we're going to end it, folks. Tune in next time for your regularly scheduled Youngling Slaying.
Oh my
Yes,
God.
we will much appreciate it. Go to the Patreon page.
You guys suck.
Okay, yeah.
Except
Our Discord link is going to be in the bio. Yeah. Shout out to everybody that came out tonight.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All the fans. Go to our
Thank you for your
Patreon.
viewing experience.
Go to our OnlyFans. We now have an OnlyFans.
No, we do not.
That is not.
That is false advertisement. That is false. That is false advertisement.
I was gonna
No.
say, disclaimer.
We'll
we
have
do
our
not actually,
Discord.
Disclaimer: we do not actually have an OnlyFans. This is completely a joke. Don't
Only
take it
Opie does.
It is a. Oh my God! All right.
Said making OnlyFans.
All right. Is that our end credit scene to this?
I think we've ended.
That's it.
Yeah.
Right.
That's our end credit scene.
That's
Goodbye.
the end. Okay. Say goodnight,
You
everyone.
guys. Thank
Good
you.
night.
May the force be with you.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.